How did I manage to secure 496 in my first year and a total of 977 in my intermediate second year? Let's get to know in this video. So hello everyone, I am Pranati and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today in this video, I'll be sharing my intermediate journey, all the exam strategy and every single thing with you guys. So let's not waste much of your time and get straight to the video. So in intermediate there are a total of 5 subjects, 3 of your selected subjects, 1 second language and the third which is English, which is common for everyone. So I had chosen MEC, which is Math, Economics plus Commerce plus 1 second language, which was Sanskrit plus English. So now let's discuss the subject-wise strategy. Let's begin with mathematics. So mathematics is further divided into 2 parts, Math A and Math B. It's 1A and 1B in the intermediate first year and 2A and 2B in the second year. So for everything the strategy is the same. So the first and foremost thing which is very important is conceptual clarity. Unless and until you understand how this particular sum is being solved, why is this formula being applied here and everything, you will not be able to solve everything. So sit in the front benches, try to understand what the faculty is teaching, try to get the maximum knowledge as possible. So coming to my case, I was not understanding trigonometry in the beginning and actually had left trigonometry for choice in my 10th standard, which I shouldn't have done. So yeah, in my 11th I was having a lot of problems, so I searched YouTube so that I get some conceptual clarity, where I found this YouTube channel called Panika Maths. So that particular ma'am teaches in Telugu. I found that really helpful. So if you also have any doubt in conceptual clarity, you can check out her YouTube channel or any YouTube channel. Just the idea is you have to have good conceptual clarity. So don't leave your faculty until and unless you understand that particular problem. So the next thing is to analyze the question papers. So open the past year question papers. What is the format of the exam? What kind of questions are being asked in the exam? If you don't know this, you will not be able to prepare well. So when you take the question paper, there are 2 marks, 4 marks and 7 marks questions, and this weightage is coming from so and so chapter. So this is the highest weightage chapter, and yeah, all these things you should be knowing definitely. And also from here also there comes a thing called important questions. So once you analyze the question papers, you will get to know that in intermediate exams there is something called important questions, and yeah, a lot of important questions do get repeated. So in my case, see, if you are preparing some for other entrance exams and you need math in it, you will solve the whole textbook. But in my case, I did not solve the whole textbook. I just was dependent on the important questions. I did only the important questions because I was doing MBC, and in my commerce background I was never going to touch math again. So my funda was that I have to clear my intermediate exam. So I focused on the important questions. If your goal is to just pass the exam or you're only concerned with your intermediate, then you can 100% go with the important questions. But there is a catch. Don't try to rectify or buttify the important questions. Try to understand the concept, because if you understand the concept, even if by chance a new question pops up in the question paper, you will be able to do it. And I studied all the chapters. I did not leave any chapter. Though there was choice in the question paper, I solved everything, but only the important questions, because I don't need math in my future. But if you are preparing for some entrance exams and you need math, then go for it, do the textbook. The third thing is practice, practice, practice. Now you have conceptual clarity, you have recorded all the important questions or whatever questions you want to do. So now what you should do is you have to practice that particular sums again and again and again. See, if you think that you are going to see, okay, this formula is applied, okay, finish. If you're going to do this, you will not able to remember the problems. So unless and until you solve them again and again until you're perfect, only then you will be confidently able to solve the questions. So what I did is, I used to not waste the gap time. So what is this gap time is, if I have reached half an hour early to the college, I used to study for that half an hour. If I've completed my lunch early, I used to do math problems or anything, but mostly math, because the other subjects were easy for me, but math was challenging because there are a lot of formulas and different kinds of problems. And yeah, so practice and practice and practice again and again until you are perfect. First go with the 7 mark questions, perfect them, then 4 marks, then 2 marks. So yeah, so basically you have to practice, because So in our college, in any college, you write a lot of exams, right? Like quarterly exam, pre-final exam, final exam, that exam, weekly test, monthly test, that test, this test. So all these tests, take these tests really seriously, study for them, practice, 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 and give the exams really well, because this will help you build that practice which is needed for your exams. Okay, so far we have discussed things like conceptual clarity, analyzing the question paper, practice, 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 give tests, and the final thing is presentation. So I had secured 100 in my first year and 93 in my second year. So how did I present my paper? So let's see. So in the question paper you have 2 marks first, then 4 marker questions, then 7 marker questions. But I did not solve like this. I solved the 7 marker questions first, because your idea should be to gain the maximum marks in the minimum time. So first, by doing the 7 marker questions, you already secured 35 marks. Okay, so you given a booklet like this. Okay, a booklet like this. You have the OMR sheet in the beginning, and you open like this. You have a few pages like this. Okay, you are given a booklet like this for solving the exam. In the starting, I have written the 7 marker questions, okay, as I mentioned before. And how much should be the length of your answer? Preferably minimum it should be a page, because it's 7 marker questions. I think 1 page to 1.5 pages is enough. And write all the steps, don't miss any steps. Try to write all the steps, because you get stepwise marking in your intermediate exam. And yeah, and the simple things like write big clear letters. I was really focused on writing the paper neatly. Trust me, I had written so neatly. Every number was so clear. Like the person who solves your question paper should feel like, wow, what a paper this is. Neat handwriting, good presentation, plus correct answers. You will definitely get good marks. Okay, so yeah, that's about the 7 mark questions. To the 7 marker questions we've discussed before, and 4 mark questions will also come to up to 70% of the page. So yeah, 70% of the page to 1 page is enough for your 4 mark questions. Make sure you write all the points, mention the formulas. I think even if you don't mention the formula, you're given the mark, but apply the formula. Okay, then coming the 2 marks of questions. For 2 marks questions, in 1 page you can write 3 questions of 2 marks, and here you have to mention the formulas also. I've mentioned rightly, write the formula, make a box. I mean, I'm telling you, write neatly, give your best in the paper. Okay, and yeah, that's it. And the next thing is, don't jumble any answers. Like you've written a 7 marker question first, then you're writing 2 marks, then you're writing 4 marks, then again 7 marks. If you do this, you will get confused, and the examiner who is correcting your paper also will get confused. So for example, if you're writing an answer and you forgot the answer here, leave the space, necessary space, and jump to the next question, solving the next question. Don't waste any time. Okay, for example, I'm solving a 4 mark question here. I forgot the answer. Leave this page, go to the next answer. Time is also very important in your exam. So whenever you practice your exams also, set a limited time. If you're solving a 7 marker question, you need to solve it in 10 minutes, not more than that. Okay, so in exam also, I always solve my question paper in time, and actually before time. If you are really good at maths, you can solve the question paper in 2 hours also. But okay, you can take your time, you have 3 hours. Yeah, and solve everything in time. Don't waste time. Wear a watch, see how much time you're taking for each question. And yeah, you have to practice this before only. By practicing only, you need to make sure that you're able to solve the whole paper in good 3 hours. Now moving on to the next subject, it is economics. Economics is not entirely new to you, because you have studied it in 10th, but yeah, it is slightly new. Okay, so the first thing is basically the same which I've discussed before, which is conceptual clarity. Because only when you understand what this is, what this particular law is, this, that, and only then you will be able to easily learn the answers. Because if you do not understand the concept, you will have to just buttify or mug up the answers, and you will not remember it for long term. Okay, so I have conceptual clarity. You have any doubts, ask the faculty. Again, sit in the French benches, be active, and everything. Okay, and yeah, you can always use YouTube if you have any doubts. You can, and nowadays you have Google, Chat GPT, I mean everything, but mostly it is easy, you will understand. Okay, the next thing is analyzing the question papers. Again, analyze the question papers, and you will find that there is something called important questions. A lot of repetitive questions are there, but still I did study the textbook. I was not only dependent on important questions. One read of the textbook I gave, one read to all the question answers I did give it, but at the end, at the last 2 months, I studied only the important questions. It's just that you have to have the knowledge, right? You're studying something not only for the important questions. So for that I read the textbook, but in the last minute even I studied the important questions. And important questions also, like you have a choice. Even in economics you can leave particular chapter like that, but I did not leave any chapter. I studied everything, even the choice. So what is the benefit is, even if by mistake the chapters you have studied, that particular important question has not come, but the other chapter the important question has come, you could write that. Like, if this is the advantage if you study all the chapters. So always study all the chapters. The third thing is, again, practice, practice, practice. So in economics you have to be speed. You have to have a good writing speed, because you have only 3 hours and there is a lot of theory to write, okay? And you will get this speed only when you practice. So give as many exams as possible. I'm going to the presentation of economics exam. So I told you that we had written a lot of exams, right? So yeah, we had written a lot of exams. So these are the random papers, like quarterly exam, pre-final, I don't remember. Okay. Now moving on, I wanted to show you guys this economics paper which I had written in my second year, some practice exam. Okay, so coming to economics exam, first you have the 10 marker questions. So I had started with the 10 marks questions, then 5 marks, then 2 marks in the last. So 10 marks questions I had written always in 3 long pages. 1, 2, 3. So one answer 3 pages. 3 pages or 3 sides, I don't know. 1, 2, 3. Okay, first answer. Second answer also 1, 2, 3. Third answer also 1, 2, 3. So for 10 marks, 3 sides. For 5 marks questions, you will have to write it around 1 to 1.5 page. So for the questions where there is not a lot of content, less content or less points are given in the textbook, write 1 page. For example, that answer has a lot of content or more points, then you can write it in 1.5 page. Okay, so these are the 5 marks questions. Section B I have written. So first question I have written, second question, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Okay, 8 questions. Coming to the last, section C. So for 2 marks, write 3 to 4 in 1 page. Here I have written 3. The next I have written 4. Okay, how to present? Always write all the definitions. You should write introduction. I have written 2 definitions in the 10 marks questions. I have 8 differences. I have written 12 differences even for 10 marks, and I have written the conclusion. Same for the next also. I have written the introduction, all the necessary points, objectives, features, and everything necessary. Okay, what is this? Okay, everything, and okay, and conclusion. Introduction, conclusion must for 10 mark questions. Introduction, conclusion, features, whatever is there in the textbook, assumptions, everything should be written. Okay, coming to 4 mark questions also, I have written the introduction. Conclusion also I have written it in the exam. So for 4 marks also, write introduction. Conclusion is not very necessary, but introduction is necessary. In introduction you have to write the author's name, the books he has written, if there are any definitions you have to write them. Okay, everything important, economic, language and all, you have to write it. Okay, same introduction is written for all 5 marks questions also. Introduction. I hope you can see it. Okay, last for section C, 2 marker questions also. Write good answer, don't write anything. Like, study well, write good points. And see, I have written all the formulas. I have made a box of the formulas. Okay, like this you neatly present everything. Okay, see, I have written all formulas, whatever I know in that particular answer. See, neatly I have underlined the topic. See, for black I have written what I am writing about. See, here I am writing about absolute poverty. I have written that. I have underlined it. And I have written the answer. This black pen, blue pen. So yeah, present really well. Write everything. Okay, I hope you understood. For 10 mark questions, write 3 pages. Everything should be mentioned. Introduction, conclusion, assumptions, features. Whatever is present in that answer, you have to write it. Author's name, year, the books he has written, everything. For 5 marks questions also, same. Introduction is pakka. I mean, it's necessary. Write all the features, whatever is required in the question. Write good 1 page is minimum. to 1.5 page for 5 mark questions. Coming to the last 2 marks questions, write the definitions, write what you're writing about. I'm writing about sustainable development, write the answer, write like good 4 to 5 points, not more than 4 answers in 1 page for 2 marks questions. Now I've showed you guys a paper of economics, right, which is a test paper. So in the real exam, I had attempted the 2 marks questions first, then the 10 marks questions, and then the 5 marks questions. So why? Because time management is very important in economics. You have to give a limit of time for a particular question. So the strategy was, for 2 marks questions, we had given 40 minutes. So in 40 minutes, I completed all the 2 marks questions, which means in 40 minutes, I will secure 30 marks. Then the 10 marks questions. For the 10 marks question, I use the next 15 minutes. So the next 15 minutes, I have to complete the 10 marks questions. So to both, it will combine to 1.5 hours. So in 1.5 hours, I will complete 60 marks questions I completed. So in the last 1.5 hours, I give entirely to the 5 mark questions. There are 8 5 marks questions. So the remaining 40 marks will be written in the last 1.5 hours. So basically 40 minutes for the 2 mark questions. Then moving on to the 10 marks questions, I gave 50 minutes and the last 1.5 hours for the 5 mark questions. This was the strategy. Going on to the next subject, it is commerce. So now I will be talking very less because the points are going to be the same mostly. So in commerce, you again have 2 parts, commerce and accountancy. Commerce is for 50 marks, accountancy is for 15 marks. So 50 marks, commerce is for 50 marks, accountancy is for 50 marks, total 100 marks paper. And commerce is entirely theoretical. You have only answers like economics, and accounting is entirely practical. You're supposed to do accounts and things like that. Okay, so what's the strategy here? The first thing is the conceptual clarity. You should have conceptual clarity of both commerce and accounting. Commerce is easy, it's answers, but accounting, you need to understand the rules of accounting and everything. It's interesting, so do focus. Only when you understand first chapter, you will understand second chapter. Only when you understand the second chapter, you will understand third chapter. So yeah, properly understand everything. And the next thing is analyzing the question papers. So you get same kind of questions every year. You definitely get a final accounts question, you definitely get a ledger and things like that. So again, analyze the question paper, know the important questions. So both commerce also, there are important questions. What's the next thing is practice. Again, commerce also, you have to practice. Same, open the page, learn the answer and write it. Accounting also, open your book, solve the sum again and again. It's the same, okay? And give tests. Mostly now I'm going to talk about the presentation, which is important. Let's talk about the presentation. So commerce plus accountancy is a total of 100 marks. So the exam strategy was, we begin with accountancy. Accountancy is 50 marks and commerce is 50 marks, right? So accountancy, you are given sums, accounting sums, and at the same time theoretical questions, but focus on always doing the accounting sums. Only then you will get the maximum marks, because already you are writing theory in commerce, right? So again, if you choose a theory question in accounting, you may or may not get marks. So if you choose, always try to choose the practical problems only. So I did only problems. So in accounting, all problems, and first I wrote all the accounting paper, then I wrote the commerce paper. So first accounting, the time limit was 1 hour. So we had to complete accounting paper in 1 hour, and remaining 2 hours was entirely for commerce, because there is a lot of theory to be written. Okay, one hour to maximum 1 hour 15 minutes. Don't take more than that for accounting, or else you will not be able to complete commerce paper. So the order was simple. First the final accounts question, then the big to small questions, everything accounting. Final accounts question also maximum 10 to 15 minutes. Don't take more than that. This is for the first year. And for second year also, similarly, for partnership question or whatever the question is coming, have a time limit. So basically 1 hour for accounting. So complete accounting paper for 1 hour, and the remaining 2 hours for commerce. Commerce also, I started with the 2 marks questions first, then the 10 marks question, because that was an easy time management. It's not necessary. You can start with 10 marks also, because commerce is only for 50 marks. I have explained the accounting and commerce strategy, right? So for commerce answers also, it is same like economics. So I'm not going to show again. Just like I've showed you in economics how I've written the introduction and conclusion for 10 marks, and also the 5 marks questions I've written in 1 page with the introduction and everything, underlining and all. Same things are followed for commerce also. Moving on to English, which is the language common for everyone. See, again everything is the same, having conceptual clarity, know the grammar, the lesson, everything. The next thing is analyzing the question papers, what types of questions are being asked in the exam. The third thing is practice, 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 give exams. Fourth thing, give tests. Fifth and the most important thing is presentation in English. So English exam is for 80 marks, right? So section A is all like theory. You're supposed to write the summary of the lesson. B and C is grammar. So I always started with section B and C, grammar. So grammar also, first thing is you have to be perfect with the grammar. There is no shortcut. You know the answer, you will write the answer. You don't know the answer, you will not write the answer. So make sure you properly study everything. So the strategy was section B first, section C next, with all correct answers, and last section A. Now section A is also important. Now summary question also, I just did not write it like that. There was like a format. So first, poet introduction, like good 3 to 4 lines. Name of the poet, what has he mentioned in the story, his year of birth, his other whatever writings he has given, everything. So poet introduction. Next, lesson introduction. So whatever the summary you have learned about the lesson. The third thing is the conclusion. So whatever the question he has asked, based on that write a conclusion of 3 to 4 lines. And the last, I had written a quote which is related to the lesson. If that particular lesson is something about honesty, then I had written in the end, honesty is the best policy. So 4 side headings: poet introduction, lesson introduction, conclusion, and a quote. And next thing is, how much should be the length of the answer. See, 1 page minimum, 1 to 1.5 page you can write, but make sure that all the answers you write have the equal length. If you have written one answer of 1.5 page, all answers should be of 1.5 page only. There should be no difference, or else there will be difference in marks, because one answer is big, one answer is small, it wouldn't look good. What I did was, I had written all answers in 1 page, top up to bottom. I had utilized the whole page. So the page was like this. I had mentioned poet introduction, 3 to 4 lines. Summary, till here summary. Conclusion, some 3 lines. Last line, quote. Or I had written quote here, I guess. I had used the whole page. So yeah, I had written 1 page, 1 answer. All the answers had written like that only. So yeah, and all the grammar was correct. Now I had secured 79 in my first year. So there is this one strategy I will tell you. So whenever you write the grammar, make sure you don't make any mistake. For example, there is a choice. You are supposed to write 4, but they are given 6. If you have written 4 correctly, leave it there. Because if you write 6 but 2 are wrong, you will get 4 marks. But it will be like tick, 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 wrong, wrong. So when you have at least 1 wrong in your paper, in the psychology of the person who corrects your paper, he will not give you full marks in the theory answer. See, I hope you're understanding what I'm trying to say. So what I did was, I made sure that in my whole paper, there shouldn't be even 1 cross. There should be all ticks only. So that in the last I have written theory, right? In the theory, he gives me full marks, or at least the maximum marks. Coming to the last and final language, second language, which is different for everyone, I had chosen Sanskrit. So most of the people in their intermediate choose Sanskrit because your faculty and everyone tells you that it is the most easy subject. So if you choose Sanskrit, that will save you time. And yeah, it's actually true. Like compared to other languages, you have less answers in Sanskrit. But yeah, it's your choice again on which language you want to choose. So coming to Sanskrit, as I told you, there are only few answers and one-word answers mostly. So you have to learn these answers perfectly and with good spelling, correct spellings, and write neatly with good spacing. I had written everything with good spacing, and I did not write the first 2 sections in the last. I had written the summary answers in the last. So first I had completed all the grammar and everything. In the last I had written the summary questions. How I had written summary questions is, I had written some introduction of the lesson. This lesson is written by so and so person and everything, and then the whole summary I had written in English. Yeah, that's it. It's a simple formula or paper presentation strategy in Sanskrit, because there's nothing more to talk about in Sanskrit language as far as I know. So yeah, do let me know in the comments how you found this video. Was it helpful for you guys, and how was your intermediate journey? or how is your intermediate journey. I would love to read your comments. Another thing is, in the starting of my intermediate, even I didn't expect that I will secure such good marks. Like seeing other people do that, I was like, how did they do that? But I am here now. So it's just that we all have that capability. Yes, you watching this video, you also have the capability to secure amazing marks. It's just that we need to put the needy efforts. So yeah, good luck with your preparation, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.